crafty people out there. I have a project today that I'm hoping will be kind of quick, but it's just something I've been wanting to do. This is something I purchased at a resale shop not too long ago, and all it is kind of like, I guess, a shawl, a cover, maybe a cover up. Anyway, it just, I wear it out over jeans, t-shirts, whatever. It's bold, it's red, but the simple fact of it is, let's take this hanger out, is that it's just a rectangle. It's a rectangle, and if I fold it in half here, we can see it's not even a very wide rectangle. And all they've done is they've got a single piece for the back. That's the back piece is actually right at about 34 inches long, or wide I should say, across the shoulders. And the two front panels that are obviously shorter are about 13 and a half, almost 14 inches wide. So I want to take the same simple design, and it's open in the front, it's sewn up on the sides, so it makes the little sleeve pocket right there. I want to take a really bright, I don't know if I'd call it pretty per se, but it's a bright scarf that I found. I am sure this one came from Goodwill, which I'm not sure if they're like $1.99 or maybe there might be 99 cents. It kind of reminds me of the 80s/90s, but I like the colors, and it's just pretty and vibrant. So what I have it here right now folded in, it's folded in half this way because it's got this little fringe at the bottom, at the ends, each end, and then I've folded it in half again this way, so the sides are open over on this area. Now what I want to do is I want to make a simple project of this and make a wrap, or just like that one, but by simply cutting out the neckline in this one and sewing up the sides. And this isn't a finished edge per se as far as a hem goes. This is more like you'd see the salvage of a piece of fabric, where the salvage is where that doesn't fray. So I won't have to do any kind of hemming. The only thing I want to do, or will probably need to do, when I cut out the neckline, I'm going to serge it. And that way, as we all know, when you serge it, then you just fold that little serge line under and it creates a perfect hem. And it keeps it from fraying as well. So, the first thing I need to do is decide how deep a neck, or how wide a neck I want up here, which of course is going to come out of this corner where everything is meeting. And I believe this is kind of a standard. This is a medium wrap, as it says. Usually they just say one size fits all. But if we take, let's say, go from the 10 mark. So this neckline from shoulder seam to shoulder seam is 7 inches. Can everybody see that? 10 to 17, 7 inches. So I'm going to need a 7-inch neck, or back of my neck, on this particular piece. It also is somewhat directional, so I need to make the decision as to whether or not the fish will be right side up on this side or on the back. It's not extremely directional. This fish is more directional than anything. These, they're kind of pointing up and down, and you know, it's not a big thing, but these flowers are really pretty too. So what I'm going to do is decide which part is the prettiest for the front and which part is the prettiest for the back. kind of torn. I think I might make this the front, and it will have the correct direction in the front. The big fish will be in the front, and it'll be facing properly if that's his mouth. So what I'll need to do, I'm going to go measure. Oh, there's my dog and my husband. They love to come in and entertain me. Anyway, what I'm going to do is decide how much of this neck I'm going to cut from this corner here. And we're going to go right down, because I need a little taken off the front in order to make that that neckline work. And then we'll serge it and put the seams on the side, and I think we should be done. It shouldn't be an extremely long project, but you know, I've said that before, so we will see how it goes. Let me get ready to cut this up, and I'm going to mark out where we want to cut and get right back to you. All right, what I've done is I've folded the scarf in half, short sides together, and the long sides together. So this is the length, the full length, where you can see the fringe down here on the end, and there's fringe at the other end of my table. It's a very long scarf. And I've taken my good old edged ruler, and I figure I'm going to have to take 3.5 inches in, because it's a 7-inch neckline, so half of that is 3.5. So I'm putting my 3.5 inch mark on the edge of this fold, and I'm going to mark just like this, and it doesn't matter if it's completely square. I'm going to go down as far as my table will let me. So now I have this mark for the neckline. I'm going to push it down a little bit more so I can get to the other end. Make sure your salvage side is still together. Sorry, don't mean to so much. Now I'm going to take this, and again, we're just going to make sure that that mark is the 3.5 inch mark on the edge of our fold of our fabric, and we may have to tug a little here and there to make sure it's straight. Three and a half. All right, and we're just going to continue our line down the side here. So now we have essentially the neckline. It is the neckline. This is the fold of the fabric. This is the salvage over here. Oh, and by the way, I decided to have the upside down fish in the front because part of him is being cut off anyway, so it's just going to be kind of like a colorful blob there. And in the front, you know, you're folding and it pleats and buckles and gathers in the front. But in the back, you're going to see the full picture of the scarf. So I thought that would probably be better to have the right side up fish. Anyway, just taking this down. Again, here's my corner. I'm not going to get super fancy about this because this fabric is very flimsy. It's kind of, I'm trying to find a tag to see if I can tell you what it's made of. Let's see if it's on the other side. Nope, no tag, but it's kind of like oh, you know those shirts that we all wore. They were rayon, or they weren't silk, but I think it was rayon. So I'm going to take from the bottom, and I'm going to cut. Just make sure that your side seams are meeting over here on the side. That's your open end that you're gonna seam up to make your armholes. We're just gonna pick a side of these tassels down here and just go up and Follow that line right up the crease that goes up the middle of the scarf. Like I said, I'm cutting most of the fish off, so if he's upside down, nobody's going to care. It's the back that you'll see that full panel, and you want to make sure that, you know, that one's the right side up. I did debate on it. I think it's okay. And in the end, for 99 cents, we're just giving this a try. Alright. Neat that corner nice and neat. And that is the extrication of our neckline. So that's what our neckline will be, and you can see his tail, and you see this is what the tassels look like. They're on both ends. That's another reason I can't cut it in half and change the direction of one side because of the tassels. Now if I wanted to take the tassels off, which I could serge those off, but I just thought they were kind of a neat addition. And they're already finished in that manner, you know, with little knots and everything. So now we're going to take it over to the serger, and I'm going to serge up this entire neckline across and back down. We'll turn that serge line under for a little 5/8 inch sort of hem, and then we'll sew up the sides. We'll meet them back together and we'll sew up the sides and create our armholes. So let's get over to the machines, y'all. Everybody, we're going to start our serge of the neckline, and I know that it's this part right here. You can see that's where I cut it. It's dangerously ready to fray. I'm going to test the serger just to make sure that it's going to take this light fabric well. I've run one stitch, but I want to show you that's what I'm doing. This is the scrap that I cut out of the neckline. So I'm just going to run this through here. And it looks pretty good. Don't get a lot of stretch or anything out of it. So when we fold this over, we fold it over like this, this will create our hem around our neck, and I'll just run a straight stitch across that serge line. So now that we know it'll work, let's go ahead and put that in my scrap pile. Throw that one away. Make sure we've got the neckline. It's really the only thing cut on the whole thing, so I'm pretty sure I got the neckline. Everything else is has either fringe or salvage sides. Trying to decide how I want to start this. Alright, I'm going to start the one of the ends, obviously, and where the fringe is. I'm just going to zip completely up, over, and down that entire neckline. Now this one has a little tassel on the edge. We're going to end up serging off, but hopefully it just takes it like a champ. Again, this fabric is flimsy. We're going to get to a corner soon, in the corner of the neckline, and when we get there, the good thing about this serger is we'll just pull that seam straight, and that will take care of that corner without having to do any kind of stop and go. Now on a regular machine that would be a little more difficult, and you have to stop and pivot. There's our corner. I'm just going to keep going straight. Just like that. Here's our second corner. And again, we're just going to pull the fabric straight. And that serger will just take it like a champ. I'll just have to deal with this copious amounts of fabric. You know, I don't like doing things like curtains and stuff like that because it's so much fabric. Lately, that seems to be my thing. Lots of fabric. Now we've got the entire neckline serged. So I'm going to go over to the regular sewing machine and I'm going to flip that little serge line under and make that hem. And then we'll just sew the sides. So let's go over to the other machine. Now we're at the sewing machine and all I'm doing is turning that serge line we put in, I'm turning it over towards the back and I'm sewing from the back, you know, facing up. That way I'll know for sure I caught that line. I'll put it under here. This shouldn't take too terribly long. I'm also tying that serge tail up underneath this hem. It just gives me a little more secure feeling. I'm going to start. This is super thin fabric and I still have a pretty hefty needle on here, so it may not be happy with me at first. Once it gets going, it should be good. And I'm just sewing right down the center of this serge line because all I'm concerned about is capturing this line for a hem. Now this is a little too much. Where's my scissors? I don't got a pair. That would be entertaining. Just watch me look for scissors. Well, there they are. I'm going to cut this little bit of serge tail I've still got hanging on. Don't need that. Go back to what I was doing. Now you could fold this under twice if you just wanted to make absolutely sure that nobody ever saw the serge line. That would make a nice little hem too. It's completely up to you. It's really a matter of what kind of visual you're looking for. I think that when I'm wearing this, that from the front, it's so bright and colorful. I don't think anybody's ever going to look at the serge line that's on the inside of the wrap. That's what we're calling it, right? A wrap? I think so. Well, it's going to take me a little while to get around this neckline. I don't want to bore y'all to death. So I'm going to finish sewing the neckline and I'll come back when I'm sewing the side seams and then we'll talk about it over at the table when I'm through. Okay, I took it back over to the table just to make sure. What I did is I measured the armhole on the original that we were using as a template, the red one. And it's about 12 inches from the shoulder seam to the end of the armhole. So I measured that on these two pieces, or these two sides of this piece of fabric, of this particular wrap, and I marked it with my white marker or my white chalk, as well as put this little quilt clip on it just to keep it together. Now it's wrong sides together. I'm sewing a seam on pretty much on the outside of this line, and the reason I'm doing that is because this is a salvage side. It's not going to fray. It doesn't need any special stitching. and it's not going to look bad if I turn around and have it wrong sides together. So I'm just going to make sure that both of my little white marks are still there, sorta. Put my pieces together, and I'm doing several back stitches here where this would be under your arm, just for the amount of stress and strain it may get. So I want to make sure I make this particular part of the seam as strong as I can. And then we'll just zip down the side all the way to the fringed end. And again, I'm using my presser foot as my guide. I'm sending the raw edges, or the salvage edges, I guess, right underneath the edge of my presser foot, and it gives me a little more than a 1/4 inch, or right at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, which is fine. We're not looking for anything fancy on this side. The good part is, like I said, it's already finished, so I don't have to do any kind of hemming. I can sew it like this, and it'll be perfect. And then I'm just going to make sure I'm pulling my little tasseled ends down here, make sure they line up. Samson, no. Sorry, my cat wants to be in the sewing room really bad, but he's a big black hairy cat, and I don't need all of that everywhere. I already sewn the other one. I didn't want to bore y'all to death. So we have the front here with the serged hem, and we have the armholes here, the side. And I'm going to clip these little things off. We're going to go take a look at it at the table, and I may just go ahead and model it. So super pumped. See you there. Okay, I think it turned out pretty cute. Got nice flowy arms and little fringe at the end down there. Comes down to my knee, and I think it's going to be perfect for just casual wear. I can wear it over something dark or light, you know, to give it color, and then I could also just use it as a bathing suit wrap. And this is what the fish looks like in the back. Let's see if I can get a good visual of it. Where's he at? Is that him? There he is. Right there. Kinda jazzed about it. Turned out kinda cute. So, simple craft. 99-cent big scarf at the Goodwill. Cut up the middle for the neckline. Sewed the sides for the armholes, and Bob's your uncle. Again, everybody, I really appreciate all of your support. Please like and subscribe, and leave me any comments. Let me know what you think. If there's something you want to see, if you want me to try something, let me know. I'll be happy to help if you have any questions out there. Have a good one. Thanks.